Chris, they had a lot of success offensively getting what they wanted. What's kind of missing right now with the defensive execution?
Yeah, I mean, just being able to kind of impact the ball. It's coming over these screens. There's a lot of separation. Guys they're in a comfortable rhythm, so we got to change a few things up and try to, kind of stop them from getting their engine revving so high right now. So.
Seemed like the end of the second quarter, that burst there was a backbreaker. What did you see? What kind of happened to?
Yeah, this is a great team. They're not going to beat themselves. We talked about that at the beginning of the series. We can't have it's inexcusable to have a segment like that where they have like 8 points in 7 seconds or something like that, whatever it was, to close the quarter when we had done a good job of kind of chipping back into the game. And then we also fell asleep on the long pass to Braun. These are inexcusable plays that you can't make right now. And I thought in general, offensively in particular, we lost our composure a little bit. Just kind of rushing things up there, chasing the ball, and our spacing and our structure collapsed as a result. So,
Chris, when the starters are out there, they're sagging a lot off Jaden. They're not really paying much attention to Rudy on the roll. Is the solution there to trust those guys? Is it to do different things with them to make them pay, I guess, for all the slack defensively?
Yeah, I think we always trust our guys. So we got to keep making the right play that's in front of us, and then those guys got to keep making the right play when it's made to them. We've had a lot of success with that. I didn't think those types of things bothered us as much as just, when we actually had the ball was what we did. We weren't able to kind of move the ball cleanly through our hands because, everyone was trying to kind of do something with it. And we got to get back to passing it and moving it again.
What do you think was the biggest thing that contributed to Carl's struggles tonight?
I think rushed a lot of things, and so physicality, kind of got him off his spot a little bit, and he kind of rushed it. So,
aside from that, just because of the way that Anthony played tonight, how hard is it for other guys to kind of find the rhythm? Did you feel like he took over because, he was sensing that the offense wasn't, operating right, especially with Carl struggling so early?
I think, I think. Honestly, he came out with a very aggressive mindset, and he just maintained it throughout the game, irrespective of what his teammates were not doing. So I don't feel like, he knew that obviously we were struggling, and obviously he was, putting the ball in his hands was a good thing. So we try to do more of that. But there was enough other plays out there to be made that could have complemented him that we didn't make. And those are the things we got to try to do, and those are the things we have been doing all playoffs. So.
Chris, they did a lot of their offensive damage kind of in the middle of the floor. Jamal mid-range, Jokic with the floaters there. Typically, that's an area that you can sacrifice a little bit defensively. It seems like in this matchup, there needs to be a little bit more intention there. What did you see when they got to kind of the middle of the floor? Yeah,
as I said, they just they're coming off those screens with speed, and they're getting a little bit of separation. Then they're making the right read when they pull two onto the ball, they throw it back to Jokic, and when they don't, they got Jamal in the mid range there. So, that's something that we have been able to affect earlier. Now they're a little more physical on their screens. They're a little hitting and holding to keep us off their body. And we just got to up our physicality at that point, too, as well.
When Gordon is bringing the ball up and then you want to get into the right half-court matchups, has that transition been difficult, do you think?
When Gordon, you mean when he's initiating and...
But then when he has the ball, but then all of a sudden it's to Jokic, he's moving around, and you pretty much want to get your matchups better than that.
Yeah, obviously they've done that to alleviate the up-court pressure. I think they've also kind of parked him in the corner a little bit more, and he's been making shots, which is a bonus. So yeah, we gotta go back and guard him a little bit more honestly right now. So.
And then second straight game that Na and Shlomo have been pretty net negative off the bench.
Yeah.
What's the dynamic there?
Yeah, I mean, just offensively, we've got that probably a lot related to that second quarter stint for them. That's where these games have been slipping away for us. We got to look at maybe ways to get those guys going and involved, or shuffle some rotation minutes to see if we can kind of survive that, because it's 2 games in a row now when we've gone to that kind of unit where we've cratered. So,
how would you describe the team's emotional state right now?
I mean, they're frustrated, but they're fine. We're 2-2. We got a 3-game series going on. We never thought this would be a quick series. We thought it would be a long one.
When Aaron Gordon is scoring the way he is, how much does that throw a wrench into what you guys like to do defensively?
Well, yeah, I just said it's a huge contributing factor to these last 2 games for him. I think particularly the way he's shooting the ball from the 3-point line. They've also moved him around a little bit. But I thought too, some of the defensive rotations that we were making or not making, I thought, weren't our best. I didn't think we were reading the situation well enough. So,
in the Phoenix series, you guys met the ball handlers at the level of the screen a lot, and obviously put some pressure on them to make plays to either the roll man or opposite side of the floor. Obviously, with Jokic, that's a little bit more dangerous and something you probably don't want to do. But with 2 7-footers, do you feel like that's something that maybe you guys could lean into more? Or is that something that has been on the table?
We've been up largely. Tonight they did a really good job of rolling that. The other night he popped it mostly. Tonight he rolled it mostly. He's a really smart player. He reads the defense well. So, we're going to have to figure out, pick our poison in the middle of the floor there. So,
Chris, you guys had less turnovers as a team than they did, but it resulted in more points. Was something about the nature of your guys' turnovers that stood out? Obviously, the one to end the first half was a big one. And just, I guess, was there a recognition of that as the game went on?
Yeah, I think the thing that stood out about the turnovers primarily was the timeliness of them. When we were kind of got a little bit of momentum, we're coming back to the game. We got, offensive foul, a couple offensive foul calls on Rudy. Ants tries to hit the pocket. It's when you put yourself behind against a team that's executing like this and making shots, it's really hard. So that's really what hurt us more than anything, I thought. Yep, thanks.